Welcome to Restart at Any Age. I'm Susan Douglas, coming to you from the studio at Chez Serendip in beautiful Scots Valley. Chez Serendip is a non-profit creative sanctuary set on 6 acres in the Santa Cruz Mountains, where artists, healers, builders and dreamers gather to make a more beautiful world through music, wellness and community. The Chez Serendip Foundation opens its gardens, its stages and its studios as an artist incubator with sliding scale programming that keeps creativity within reach. Find them at chezserendip.org and on Instagram at chezserendip. So today on Restart at Any Age, we're diving into a mission that's all about saving lives in the critical moments that matter most. 6 Minutes to Live is a powerful non-profit movement co-founded by today's guest, Hilary Gates. It focuses on preventing needless deaths from sudden cardiac arrest through bystander CPR training, AED access, community readiness, and real data to improve emergency response, because every second counts. But who is this passionate paramedic educator and advocate behind this work? After growing up in the Seattle area and building a life in DC for over 30 years with her husband Henry, she faced profound loss and made a bold restart here in Santa Cruz in late 25, where she's now thriving and deepening this life-saving impact. So welcome, Hilary. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Susan. What a lovely introduction. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. My gosh, you're doing an amazing thing here. So let's just explain firstly, for listeners who may not be familiar, to tell us what 6 Minutes to Live is all about.
Sure. This was a initiative and originally co-founded as a national initiative with my partner, Bob Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to just focus on increasing survival from sudden cardiac arrest. Right now, the survival rate nationally for having a sudden cardiac arrest outside of the hospital is only 10%.
Ooh.
So it's an abysmal number.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to Santa Cruz, I started to engage the local community and the fire and EMS folks here. And we, to my great surprise and delight, launched 6 Minutes to Live Santa Cruz as a local chapter of the same initiative.
Right.
So we're doing it here in Santa Cruz County with the Fire Chiefs Association and the fire and EMS departments, as well as the surrounding community who's helping us do exactly what you described.
Yeah.
Increase bystander CPR, AED placement, and community awareness of
Right.
sudden cardiac arrest.
Right. Now, CMS is emergency services.
EMS is emergency medical services,
Yes.
which is the paramedics and the EMTs who are often on the fire trucks and the fire engines, but also are the ones who are in the ambulances taking patients to the hospital
Right.
when they call 911.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Santa Cruz is very pleased that you moved here. You know?
I think they are. They've said that to me.
Yes.
And said, "Where did you come from?" In fact, is one of the things I got. And I said, "Well, I was meant to be here." And
Right.
And now we're doing some really great work.
Right. Okay, so let's go back to the roots, okay? You actually grew up in Seattle, didn't you?
Just north of Seattle in
Yeah.
a town called Edmonds that's on the water, that I had a blissful childhood and then decided to get into the bigger world and go to college in Washington, D.C., in the other Washington.
Right, okay.
And that's where I moved. I moved there after high school to go to college.
Right, right. And what did you study in college?
Oh, literature. I was a high school English teacher for 12 years, and I also got to dip my toes into journalism as I became the journalism teacher and the newspaper sponsor at the high school where I was teaching.
Right.
Which is serendipitous and
Yes.
wonderful because it got me into journalism kind of in the back door, and has really helped me in the next work that I did with EMS and EMS world.
Right. But that's quite a pivot to go there.
Huge pivot. It doesn't make any sense. Most people who know anything about EMS say, what a strange thing that happened. But when you have students in your classroom who are volunteering at the local firehouse down the street, and
Right.
they're 16, 17 years old, in your English class telling you about how it'd be fun if you, Miss Gates, came on a ride along with us so you could see what we do in the ambulance.
Yeah.
And then you say yes to them and realize I loved it. Just loved it. And so it was really quite an amazing thing that I would teach them Shakespeare at first period on a Thursday, having the night before at 3 o'clock in the morning, them teaching me how to take a blood pressure and assess a patient and intervene in someone's emergency.
That is a switch. So, I mean, at that point, did you think, maybe there is something here for me? Maybe I'm leaving what I do right now.
I knew that the education piece was the anchor.
Right.
And you're right to say that there was a bit of a crisis of identity, and I didn't know what I was doing or who I was, but it became very clear that being an educator and being entrusted with someone's health or with someone's schooling or whatever skill that they were learning is something that I really, really feel privileged to do.
Right.
So it became a really similar engagement with another human being.
Right.
To be an educator in the back of an ambulance, similar to the way I was an educator in the classroom.
Right. Yes, there were parallels in your whole world there. Yeah. So you met your husband there too, right?
So I worked for Henry when he was running, and he had founded and run a very successful restaurant in Washington, D.C. called Kramer Books and Afterwards, which was the very first bookstore that had a food establishment with it. And it's way more than a cafe. It was a restaurant, full service, brunch, lunch, dinner. They were open all night on the weekends.
Yeah.
Just an institution, still going strong.
Really, it's such a novel idea, though, isn't it?
It is.
To
It was a
combine the
novel.
both.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I worked for him, and yes, he was my boss. And then we fell in love later, and had 30 years of bliss in Washington, D.C.
Oh, so you were quite young.
I was.
Yes.
Yeah, just out of college.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you were teaching at that point. You just
I
went
was.
straight into teaching there.
Yeah, I spent the first 12 years of my professional life teaching high school, and then moved into EMS in my mid-30s.
Oh, right. Okay. And how did that develop at that point?
The EMS
Yes.
part?
Yeah.
I transitioned out of teaching. I became a part-time high school teacher, and then was volunteering, and then I decided to actually get paid to be a paramedic, and I was hired in Northern Virginia by a fire department and worked there for about 6 years.
Right. Okay. Yes. And how did that affect your life on that switch at that point?
It was profound. It not only was the very serious life and death situations and human struggles of on a daily basis running 911 calls, but also a lifestyle change. EMS is mostly based in shift work, so I worked 24-hour shifts from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Right.
And you only work 2 days a week because that's a full, 48 hours a week.
Right.
So there was a lot of flexibility, and Henry's schedule was also extremely flexible as he owned the restaurant and had lots of people in the places that he needed to run the place. So we got to pursue our love of travel and, exploring the world together.
Oh, great. So where did you travel?
We went anywhere that there was water and good food.
Yes.
When I look back at it.
That's a lot of places.
Yeah, it is. And we spent a lot of time in Europe and Italy and France, and loved New Zealand, loved Australia. We loved going to anything that had islands like Croatia or Turkey, and did a lot of boating, did a lot of eating of seafood. I think that all goes together. And lots of art and music and culture, and we don't have kids, so it was lots of freedom that we had in our schedules and our ability to focus on our relationship and ourselves.
Right, that's brilliant. So during all these travels, did you kind of pick up any knowledge on what other countries do on emergency services?
A lot of knowledge, and that was one of the greatest really the greatest pieces of education that I got when I was transitioned out of the fire department and was running a very big EMS conference and magazine and a website called EMS World. And we were able to use my travel. I kind of, did a lot of my own personal travel, and then was able to kind of work in some work travel to go look at other systems like
Right.
Denmark, like Vietnam, like the UK, Norway. I was in different places like that, and learning about their systems. And in fact, Denmark has the highest rate of sudden cardiac arrest survival in the entire world.
Well, yeah.
And they have focused on massive community engagement and public access to defibrillators and CPR education, and making sure that every citizen knows that the power to save a life is in their hands.
Yes.
And that they are expected to perform CPR and understand what a person needs when they collapse.
Wonderful. It's a shame that they can't endorse that more everywhere in the world.
Yeah, it is a shame, but it is something that does get extrapolated, and they are known as the kind of the best place to learn from a system like that. And people will say things. Naysayers will think it's such a small country. Of course, it's easy for them, but it's something that you can scale. You do need to know your community. Santa Cruz has a different type of need for cardiac arrest response than New York City, than Seattle, than rural Kansas.
What difference?
The differences have to do with access to the EMS system and how good this system is and how well it responds in the fire department. So, of course, in a place like that's urban and has extremely high call volume, you may have to wait longer for a responding agency.
Right.
But other things that people don't think about, like high rises. So if you live on the 24th floor of a building and someone's trying to get to you because you're having an emergency, it's going to take them longer.
Yeah.
And that's why it's essential that everyone who is the age of 9 or older, which has been proven can do CPR, knows what to do when someone is unresponsive and not breathing normally. Because while you're waiting in those first 6 minutes or in the first 8 minutes or 10 for the professionals to arrive, you can increase someone's chance of survival by doing CPR on them.
Right. So what's the outreach program here for people to come and learn?
Well, we are doing this kind of grassroots, and it's become something we're using education in the community for through what we call found events, or all of the amazing stuff that Santa Cruz holds as public fun races and music and concerts and festivals and anything where there might be a pop-up tent that we could say, hey, come over here and learn CPR.
Yeah.
So we've been doing all kinds of events like that. Our next one is the Wharf to Wharf race, which is
Well, very
thousands of
appropriate.
people. Exactly, and we'll be
goodness.
we'll be at the finish line with the Sutter Health folks who have the first aid tent, and we'll be able to teach CPR when people are done calming down after their race.
Right.
And then really exciting, we just are in the last bits of a partnership with all of the Santa Cruz County Office of Education folks through their school safety program and teaching CPR in the classrooms.
Very good.
For the 9th graders. So
Excellent.
we'll be doing that this school year, and we'll teach bystander CPR, Narcan administration if we suspect a opioid overdose, and then stop the bleed skills.
Right. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So is that throughout Santa Cruz County or a specific area?
Yeah, so Santa Cruz County, as the Santa Cruz Fire Chiefs Association is our official partner that signed on to say we are partnering with 6 Minutes to Live Santa Cruz. So, yeah, we'll stick around Santa Cruz County, but this for sure, Susan, is a proof of concept as a local chapter that Bob and I and everyone in Santa Cruz also understands is likely going to expand elsewhere. So raise your hand out there if you want us to come to your community, and we'll come by and try to help you, examine what the needs are and what we can do to help.
Oh, wow. I'm sure you have a lot of takers on that one.
I hope.
Yes, absolutely. So how did you first come to Santa Cruz?
So Henry and I traveled here in 2021 during the pandemic, and there's a good backstory on that, which is that kind of like a lot of people during the pandemic, we wanted to get out and do things, and it was really hard.
Yes.
Henry was much older than I, and I was working as a paramedic in the Virginia area giving vaccines.
Okay.
So I was giving the COVID vaccine, and which meant that I got to have it even though I wasn't of older age, but because I was giving the vaccine, I got to have it.
Right.
Henry also got vaccinated, so we were early vaccinated folks, and
Right.
we felt safe traveling and decided we wanted to go on a road trip and see maybe about checking out places to move. We both loved the West. I wanted to be closer to my parents, and so we drove across country.
Yeah.
And our last stop west was Santa Cruz. And
Yeah.
in 2021, you might remember the real estate market was crazy, and things were flying, off of the market in a minute, and going way over asking, and it wasn't the right time for us to buy.
Right. Right.
So we kind of put that on the back burner, went back home and spent, another couple of years in Maryland and Washington, D.C. area, and he had sold the restaurant at that point. But he was diagnosed with cancer in July of 2022.
And it's a stunning blow.
It was, and he lived another year and passed away from an infection that the cancer had caused. That we knew was going to happen, and he had some successful treatment at the beginning, and then some failures and some bad reactions and things like that. So, so it's been about 3 years that he's been gone, and we always talked about the fact that I would have another chapter to my life, and that I would be okay, and that it would be a lot of grief and very sad and painful. But
Yes.
my therapist, Sandy, always talked to me about turning my pain into purpose and making sure that I used the things that I had learned in my life and the things that I had learned with Henry and about my own grief and struggles to help others. And that's my greatest joy, is doing that.
Right. Yes.
And I wanted to live on the West Coast. So
Right.
Santa Cruz was top of mind.
Called you again,
and
yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
And I was renting out here first in the harbor area, and then I was wandering around one morning with my coffee in my neighborhood, as people do.
Yeah.
And I saw this house for sale, and I thought, well, I guess I'll go look at that house. And I walked in, and literally when the door opened and I saw the place, I said, I think I want to live here. And 2 weeks later, the house was mine.
Serendipity.
Indeed, serendipity. I call it synchronicity, but I love that I'm sitting in the Shea Serendip studio. What a great...
Relating the story.
Yes, synchronicity.
Yeah. Which is some things, you can't avoid it. It just seems like it was meant to be.
Indeed. And you and I talked about the spirituality in Santa Cruz and the people who live here,
Right.
and the very intentional attention that people pay to what's around them here. I think that there is this Mary Oliver poem that I love that says, "Pay attention, be astonished, tell about it."
Yes.
I think that's a good motto for Santa Cruz.
It is.
The people who live here move here live here because they understand that there is awe in their everyday of looking around at the beauty of the ocean and the water and the mountains and the trees and the people.
Yeah.
And people care about each other and want to help each other. And I think that's another reason why 6 Minutes to Live Santa Cruz will thrive.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because we talked about the coordinates. Is there something about the coordinates?
I love that.
here?
And I hadn't heard that much, and I now want to really explore that.
Yeah, because what is it that does attract these people?
Yeah.
They all find their way here one way or another.
And people of a certain age. There do seem to be a lot of chapter tours here.
Yes.
People who are like me, maybe widowed or had a profound loss, or are starting a new relationship, or who are empty nesters, or
Right.
recently divorced, or something like that. There's a real community of folks like that.
Right.
I often look around me and think we all are all living our 20s again in kind of a different way,
Right.
with that freedom of joy and dancing and singing and boating and swimming and surfing and doing the
Right.
things that Santa Cruz can bring.
Yeah, well, this is the area, of course, where it was peace, love, and hope, wasn't it? Really?
Indeed.
Yeah, and that emanated from the '60s.
Exactly.
Yeah, kind of overspill from San Francisco.
Yes.
Flower power and all that.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I so wanted to be here then. I was living in England, but I so wanted to be here.
What was it about, what drew you?
Oh, I didn't move until 3 years
I
ago.
know that, but
So
back
I'm
then,
kind of late.
you said you so wanted to be here.
Oh, just the whole concept of, just being free and, harmonious and, barefoot, because I was young. flowers in my hair,
Yeah.
all that. I just thought, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they got the weather too.
Indeed. Well, in Santa Cruz, I've learned since I moved here, it's got even better weather than San Francisco, right? We're not afflicted by Carl the fog.
Correct.
So, I mean, what another wonderful reason to move here.
Right, exactly. There's just a little marine layer in the morning sometimes along the coast. But actually, I quite like it now.
Yeah.
At one time, I didn't like it at all, but now I do. It's just because you know that it's all going to shine through later in the day and bring perfect temperatures, so no problem.
Right.
So let's go back to you. So you describe yourself as a connector, educator, and advocate for humans. Okay, and that comes out of your LinkedIn.
Yes.
So how does that identity show up in your current role as Director of Educational Strategy at Prodigy Emergency Medical Services?
That is the main gig I have. I work a lot of different jobs and have a really great consultancy practice. But Prodigy is where I've been for more than 5 years now, creating education for EMTs and paramedics.
Right.
And my role there is to kind of find the best folks to teach the best stuff to the best providers and the best clinicians.
Right.
And so my role as connector is that because of my ability to use the folks I've met throughout my career in EMS is something I'm really proud of in that I can take a topic that's difficult to teach or hard to understand and say, I know just the person for that to teach and create courses for Prodigy's online catalog.
I see. Okay.
And that's what our company does.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And how far does that extend?
Well, it's we have more than 200,000 customers all throughout the world, and the company is really based in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, but it's remote in the sense that all of our education is online, available for anyone at any time.
Right.
Paramedics and EMTs have to recertify their license the same way that doctors do.
Mm-hmm.
Every 2 years, you have to have a number of hours of continuing education. So that's that's the niche that we fill.
I see. So are there conferences and things around
There
this?
are, yeah. We don't run any as Prodigy, but we attend them
Right.
so that we can see what's out there and make sure we're networking with all the right people.
Yeah. And has it changed greatly over the years?
It has, because EMS has just skyrocketed in terms of innovation and doing things that previously weren't done in the field. We often have followed the military model. EMS often follows the military model of kind of what the military has innovated in the field, literally, in the middle of nowhere or in an austere environment, we'll take on. The latest example of that is giving blood to patients who are losing blood in the field. So if they have a stabbing or a shooting wound, or they've been in a car crash, or a woman is hemorrhaging after childbirth, we now can transfuse blood in the ambulance or in your home.
Oh, right. Before you couldn't.
That's correct.
Oh.
The logistics of blood transfusion or blood administration were extremely difficult with keeping the blood at the right temperature and making sure that the blood bank could give us the blood that we needed, and making sure the donor type was correct and things like that. But most of that has been worked out, and now there are communities that are saving hundreds of patients a year that previously would have died.
So how long has that been in place?
Blood in EMS has been going on for, I don't know the exact number, but I want to say almost 10 years in the first places that it started, in Texas and Florida were some of the first places where it started.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is, as I said, growing exponentially, and the biggest hurdle right now to that growing is a reimbursement problem. Without getting into all the details of that, it's not an automatic cash flow for the EMS agency that's providing the blood for them to get reimbursed by insurance companies. So that's getting worked out.
Right. Okay. So do you find that older communities are more receptive to you, or because anybody at any age can actually get a heart attack now, can't they?
Yeah. So good question.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, Susan, that when we make the stories personal, so Bob and I are both journalists, and he's a journalist by training, and actually practiced journalism, writing the 6 Minutes to Live or Die series in the USA Today 20 years ago. That's where this came from.
Right.
We know that when we tell a story that's personal to someone, or we can invoke something, or I should say evoke something in them in their personal life that makes them say, I want to grab onto that and do something about it, then it matters. So yes, certainly older people do have a higher incidence of sudden cardiac arrest, but frankly, the more, I don't want to say more tragic, but the sometimes more profound stories are the ones of young athletes, or even 30-year-olds who are walking around unknown to them. You know, they have a heart defect or dysrhythmia that they're not aware of, and they collapse and they don't survive. Now, there's lots of ways to screen and do preventive measures, but at least we know that the most important thing for a sudden cardiac arrest victim is CPR and defibrillation within the first minutes of their collapse. And so when we train the entire community to be able to do that and say, I am ready to help my fellow human, then we will increase survival rates from 10% to 50 or 60%, as some communities like Seattle have done.
Right, okay. So is it present at every sporting event?
It is
setup?
not. It is not, and it needs to be.
It does.
And that's the exact right question to ask. So you as a community member who have children or grandchildren playing soccer on a soccer field should be looking around and scanning and saying, where's the defibrillator, or where's the athletic trainer who knows where the defibrillator is?
Yeah.
Tragically, in many cases where kids have a cardiac arrest on a soccer field, it's at night on a soccer field next to a high school, and maybe the school has a defibrillator, but it's locked inside the gym.
Goodness, yeah.
And so one of the things we're doing in Santa Cruz, we've already placed one at Steamer Lane at the lighthouse, is making public access defibrillators so that they're there 24/7, and you can walk over and take it out of its case and run over to the patient and help them immediately.
So this is where people need training on how to do this.
That's right. And defibrillators are automated, so they talk to you in English and in Spanish. They tell you exactly what to do and where to place the pads, and when to press the buttons. It's remarkable.
Whoa.
So as long as you're confident about, saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to help someone.
Yeah.
And you also may have on your speakerphone with you the dispatcher from the 911 call that you made.
Yeah.
Then you have the things that you need to increase that person's chance of surviving.
That's amazing.
It is.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So defibrillators need to be everywhere.
That's right. They should be as ubiquitous as fire extinguishers.
Absolutely.
Not to say that fire extinguishers aren't important, but when you go in a public building, in a business or in a gym or in a Costco or something like that, and you look around, look at how many fire extinguishers there are, and think to yourself, when was the last time there was a fire here?
Right.
They're not used very much. Fire has the fire department folks sometimes say we are doing a good job of putting ourselves out of business with smoke alarms and sprinklers and really good building materials and that kind of thing. But defibrillators need to be as ubiquitous as a fire extinguisher, because we're losing hundreds of thousands of people a year. Almost 1,000 people a day die of cardiac arrest in the United States.
Wow.
Yep. It's the equivalent of a few airplanes crashing. We would never stand for it if airplanes actually crashed every single day.
Right.
But for some reason that kind of the fact that it's dissipated among, and sometimes in communities that are not getting a light shining on them, we don't know about it.
So let's go through the symptoms of heart attack. What happens?
So the important thing is to understand that a sudden cardiac arrest is often caused by an electrical malfunction, and it's not the same as a heart attack. However, a heart attack, which is a plumbing problem, can lead to a cardiac arrest.
Right. Oh, so there's a difference.
There is.
You see,
there is.
I don't even understand that.
Most people don't.
Okay,
That's
so
a standard.
if you can kind of explain that first, then.
A heart attack is a plumbing problem where we talk about the arteries or your veins and arteries in your body maybe having plaque build up, and then a clot forms, and that clot blocks the flow of blood to your heart. And those symptoms include classically things like chest pain, jaw pain, shoulder pain, shortness of breath, sweating, feeling just generally ill. Sometimes it's a really extreme, some 10 out of 10 pain. Sometimes it's kind of an ache for a while. Sometimes it happens after an exertional activity, like shoveling snow or mowing the lawn or something like that. And that heart attack, if not treated, could block the artery enough to lead to your heart stopping, to the cardiac arrest, where you would need CPR.
Right.
The main thing you can distinguish with a heart attack and sudden cardiac arrest, if you're curious, is heart attack victims are generally conscious. They're generally awake.
Right.
And a sudden cardiac arrest victim is always unresponsive or unconscious.
Oh.
And so when in a sudden cardiac arrest, an electrical problem happens in your heart can do one of two things. Stop completely, which is in the movies or the TV shows when you see the flat line. That's called asystole, meaning there's no electrical activity.
Right.
And then the other thing that can happen is it can beat erratically. And when the heart beats erratically, it means that there's not enough of a squeeze of the heart muscle to push the blood around the body and perfuse or give oxygen to your brain, your liver, all of the vital organs. So in those cases where the heart is beating erratically, the defibrillator stops that erratic activity. It's like a reboot, it's like a computer reboot.
Right.
Stops the erratic activity. The heart kind of does a whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then restarts normally.
Okay.
But in the meantime, what the person needs the most in a sudden cardiac arrest is for you to be their heart. So your hands are their heart. So when you put your hands in between their nipple line on their chest and you push hard and fast to the beat of Staying Alive, you are pushing the blood that their heart can't push around their body and keeping them alive.
Yeah.
So you are their lifesaver.
Yes.
And so you keep doing that until help arrives, until someone brings you a defibrillator, until you get tired and someone else can sub in for you, or until fire and EMS arrives, or until the person wakes up and says, hey, stop doing that, that hurts. And that means you saved them.
Yeah, my goodness, yes. What an achievement that would be.
It is.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we in the 6 Minutes to Live organization want to highlight more is the feeling that someone gets when they save someone's life.
Yes.
And right now, only 1 time in 10 does someone get saved. But imagine that there is a whole army of people out there who have performed CPR on another human being, saved their life, and now say, I know what to do. I am confident about what science says about what this person needs most, and I'm going to be an evangelist for it in my community.
Now you have a documentary, don't you?
We do.
Now what have you done with the documentary so far?
So it was our origin story, and we wanted to make sure that people understood why we were doing the work we were doing, and also the profound effect of what happens when someone gets the help that they need in a timely fashion in those 6 minutes, and when someone doesn't. And so the documentary paints a picture between those two victims.
Right.
One, tragically, Julia Resnick, who died in 1999.
She was young, right?
And she was 21.
Yeah.
And I was there for that. And I was not trained, and I did not know what to do. So, of course, that's affected me profoundly for my entire life.
Right.
And we contacted her parents, Henry and Rosa, and we talked to them, and they said, absolutely, we want her story to be told again, and we want more lives to be saved, and no one should go through the pain of losing their child.
Right, absolutely.
And then the flip side of that is a woman named Amber, who was saved in Hilton Head Island, and she got the help that she needed right away, and has gone on to be married and have a child and thrive.
Yeah.
So that documentary is about 12 minutes long. It was produced by our director, Adam Kalinowski, who we continue to work with. And our next documentary is going to be on the DC Fire and EMS department that has shown tremendous strides from 20 plus years ago,
right,
when Julia collapsed and much of their system was dysfunctional. There was low morale. The community wasn't being engaged, and that has completely been turned on its head. It's done a 180, and they're leading the nation in some survival rates.
Yeah.
So we want to highlight their success and their work because it can show many other communities that this work is possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've gotten some funding for that, and we're moving along with some interviews, and the filmmaking process is something completely new to me. I know you've dabbled in documentary filmmaking, but it goes slow, and I get excited, and I don't have a lot of patience, so Bob often has to remind me to slow down, take a breath, it's going to happen.
Yes, Movies, films, documentaries, feature films can take years.
Exactly.
The documentary I worked on took me 7 years.
7?
Yes.
Okay.
But
I'll try to keep breathing.
Keep breathing. Yeah. So I'm just thinking distribution here. How how can we get tons of people to see these documentaries?
That's exactly right. That's
Yes.
what we think, because when people watched even our mini documentary, they responded almost viscerally. We would see people watch it, and at the end they would get up out of their chair to go pick up the phone to call somebody's to train them in CPR, or call their city council and say, what's our cardiac arrest survival rate in my community? And they were driven.
Yeah.
They had that call to action. And so we have grand plans, because Bob and Adam and I don't say no to anything, and we dream big, and we know we can manifest things like getting it on 60 Minutes or Frontline or Netflix.
Yeah,
or
that's
absolutely
the achievement you
we
need.
absolutely will. I'll say it right now on record with you, Susan, in Santa Cruz.
Okay.
Because it will be a way to open people's eyes and make them understand the role that they play in caring for a stranger.
Yes, their own community.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, you could start small with town halls until you catch the attraction of the big boys.
Exactly.
Are you going to do that?
Indeed. We've already thought about small film festivals. They're everywhere these days. So
Santa Cruz has its
own
film festival. Yes.
I know. Let's do it next year.
Yeah. Well, I can put you in touch with the chap who runs it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I've interviewed him. So.
Of course you have. Yes. Film festivals and town halls or city council meetings, right? You go show this to, there's a wonderful story about this being shown, not our film, but a story being shown in Orlando of a very significant cardiac arrest save of a man named Rick Chapp, whose wife did CPR on him in their kitchen and saved his life. And when they went and told the story to the city council and the mayor cried. And got up from his desk and came over and hugged them. It's all on camera. It's incredible, right?
Yes.
And that's what we mean by those stories that provoke a personal reaction. And we've seen it in Santa Cruz after telling stories and putting them on our website, or KBSW interviewed us, and we've been in the news and in the Lookout and the Sentinel. And then people see those stories and they call me and they say, Hilary, we have a young woman right now whose dad died last fall in Santa Cruz, and she is already raising money so that she can put a defibrillator where he passed away and try to change the next outcome. Right.
Yes. Wonderful. Do you have enough footage to compile a total feature-length documentary?
I think we're getting close.
Yeah.
The cool thing about the footage that we have and that we keep shooting is that it's a look back, because especially for the DC Fire and EMS story, Bob, when he was writing the story in 2003 for the USA Today, created a lot of footage then.
Right.
Now, of course, the footage was a little shaky because the technology was different, but it's there.
Yeah.
He has interviews with the titans of sudden cardiac arrest survival, the doctors and the physicians and the EMS leaders. So we have a lot of that, which will certainly be in the film. And then all departments, all fire departments and EMS agencies now have their own public information officer. They have their own press office. They have their own marketing folks, because they know that their job needs to be seen as a business that they market, and they have a brand to manage.
Right.
So they create that stuff too.
Yeah.
And then we have lots of interviews with the key players. So I think we're getting closer.
Yeah, because once you have that feature length, then you can get very, very serious with everybody, and go to film markets and tell, distributors.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
get
we
it
were
on
first,
Netflix and all the rest of them. Yeah.
When we were first being kind of deciding that we were going to found this nonprofit, we got to speak to someone from A&E who gave us some really good advice and was very intrigued and said, "Call me if and when you get to where you're going, because I'd like to talk to you again." So it's nice to hear those those levels of interest.
Yeah, and they're desperate for content all the time.
Indeed.
So this is very important content.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if people want to train around the area, what do they do?
So if we can help you with what we call hands-only CPR training, right? So we're not doing a 4-hour class that gives you a card with a certification signed by the American Heart Association. We believe that it's just important to teach people how to put your hands on someone else's chest, push hard and fast, call 911, and hope that there's a defibrillator nearby that you can use.
Yeah.
And that's a very simple training that doesn't take more than 5 minutes at a booth at the 5K, or maybe an hour if we're going to come into the 9th grade classroom and teach a few other things.
Right.
So if we can help you do that, go on our website, 6minutestolive.com, and put in a request to email us, and we have folks working for us in the fire department who are coordinating all of that.
Yeah.
But if that's not something you wish to do through us, reach out to the American Heart Association or the American Red Cross, the local chapters, and they can also train you if you want something a little bit more robust.
Yeah. Well, I hope that everybody listening to this takes this to heart. Excuse the pun, but seriously,
indeed,
yeah, it's vital.
It's vital, and knowing that the stories that we know and the way that we've tracked this, right? So we're in it, right? We are inundated by stories that of both joy and heartbreak. And again, once you hear one, you say, I never want that to happen to another person again, or I do want that to happen because you have a story of success. You just want everyone to know that this weekend I'll be attending on behalf of 6 Minutes to Live Santa Cruz the Kyle J. Taylor Foundation's annual fundraiser. It's based out of Los Gatos.
Okay.
Kyle's parents run this foundation in his honor. He died as a teenager of sudden cardiac arrest, and they raise a bunch of money with this golf fundraiser. But they do kind of what 6 Minutes to Live Santa Cruz does, which is to place defibrillators and do CPR education. But more importantly, they discovered that he may have had a heart defect that was undiagnosed, and so they have helped screen high school athletes with EKGs before they start playing sports.
Oh, what a good idea. Yeah.
And they do free screenings all around the area, and they've changed laws in local towns nearby to say that the law now says that you cannot play a high school sport unless you get an EKG. And so they're doing the upstream prevention.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So do you have a personal favorite story?
Oh, wow. No one's ever asked me that before. To have a personal favorite story. Susan, there are so many, and they're so remarkable. I'm going to say this one. I don't know that it's my favorite, but it's remarkable, and people should hear it because it'll weave well into our serendip and synchronicity discussion.
Yes.
I was at yoga in Santa Cruz a couple of months ago, and when I came in for my class, I overheard an instructor talking to a student who had just come out of the yoga practice. And the instructor was telling a story about his, I think it was his brother. Yeah. And so I just listened because I wasn't part of the conversation. But of course, as soon as I heard what I heard, I thought, here we go again, more synchronicity. Right. He told a story about his brother going for a run with his adult son in Texas, in rural Texas. And his brother collapsed in rural Texas on a road and his brother had a sudden cardiac arrest. Right. His son was trained and knew what to do. Yes. His son got down on his hands and knees and started doing CPR on his dad. Right. There are many stories like this where kids do CPR on their parents. Wow. His son knew that without help, this wasn't going to go well because there was no one around. Yeah. He suddenly heard a car pull up. And that car, it was on a dirt road. He heard the gravel. And out of that car came a man dressed in a priest outfit. He was a priest. Yeah. And he was going either to or from church, and he had a defibrillator in the trunk. Oh, for goodness sake. And he got the AED out of the trunk and shocked this man, and they saved his life, and he lived. Wow. And so I heard this story from this yoga instructor. I think I might have cried a little bit. Yeah. And I said, because I'm not very shy, excuse me, I'm sorry, I overheard that story. Can I can I ask you a few questions?
Yes.
And of course, the story ended by me saying, if your brother or his son wants to contact us, I would love to tell that story.
Right.
But I got to tell it just now.
Yes, you did.
I mean, that's just this divine intervention,
Yes.
whether or not you believe in whatever it is, religion or other things.
Right.
But part of it is that you're in the right place at the right time,
Yes.
and you're prepared. To your point about there need to be defibrillators everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, this man survived because there was a
Because
defibrillator in someone's
in the
car.
car. Gosh, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gives you the goosebumps.
Yeah, it does. It actually does.
Yeah.
Wow. So, my goodness, this has been very enlightening, I have to say.
I'm glad.
One doesn't, on an everyday basis, think about it
No.
at all.
No.
It's only when there's an occurrence
That's right.
but we can't wait for occurrences.
You said it. You said it. There's that reactionary, planning for that is going to leave a bunch of people behind.
Right.
So if we're proactive, it's much better.
Yes. So what's your future plans?
We are definitely spinning up the education piece in Santa Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Another part that we didn't talk about is something we call the low-hanging fruit of increasing sudden cardiac arrest survival is putting defibrillators in all of the law enforcement vehicles in your community.
Ah, yes.
And if you, again, think about distribution and density, yes, all the ambulances and the fire engines and fire trucks have AEDs, but the police cars, there are many more of them. They're smaller, more nimble, and they're often more available because they're not tied up on a long medical call.
Right.
So there are about 110 at last count law enforcement vehicles in the Santa Cruz area. Capitola, Scotts Valley, Santa Cruz, so on and so forth. And we have gotten 20 donated and purchased AEDs, and we're putting them into the vehicles in Santa Cruz and the sheriff's office as well.
Right.
And Capitola is about to equip all 9 of their police cars with AEDs. So that's another arm of increasing access and public access to fibrillation that's happening.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
good to know.
Indeed, yeah. If there's a 911 call, it generally gets distributed to either as a law enforcement call or as a medical call. But what the dispatchers can do at the answering point is say, okay, we have a medical call because it's an unconscious person who's had a cardiac arrest.
Right.
We're also going to put that out on the channel to the police.
Right.
Because they're trained in CPR. They know how to do those life-saving interventions, and they're more available.
Yeah.
And so the police car often gets there before the fire engine or the ambulance. They're busier and larger and harder to maneuver.
Right, yes.
And speaking from experience, when we did that in my fire department in Virginia, arriving on a scene and seeing a police officer doing CPR on a patient is one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen because for 2 reasons. The police officers are so good at their job. They are just really... pay attention to detail, so they do very good CPR, and they know how important it is.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, they say to you, "I spend a lot of my day being viewed as someone who is scary and who is going to maybe take something away from someone, and being able to do CPR on someone and save their life is one of the greatest gifts that they describe as having on their job."
Right. And it is, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. So what was it like working with the fire department?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I was completely ignorant, and I called myself the biggest rookie ever because I had spent my only experience in life as a job was as a high school teacher. Right. And then I join this tribe of people, and it's a family. And especially when you're working in shift work and living in the firehouse together.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And the house, it's a house, right?
Yes.
We have laundry, we have cooking, we eat meals together, we shop together, we sleep together, in the same room, or in bunk rooms, or in our own rooms. And then we get called to someone's worst day.
Yes.
And we go there as a team, and we trust each other, and everybody has their own job to do, and it works like a well-oiled machine. It's like a pit crew changing a tire in a race.
Yes.
And then you go back and go to sleep or keep eating your dinner, and you do it all over again.
Wow.
And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that it's bad for your health, right?
Yes.
For not sleeping well, and the stress of the job, and sometimes not eating right, or exercising, or having enough downtime, and that's stuff that's being fixed slowly but surely. But really was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life, and I miss the family and the people a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
How long did you do that for?
I, as a full-time paramedic, paid in the fire department, I did that for almost 6 years.
Right.
And then before that, I was a volunteer for 5 years, where I did about one night a week.
Right. Oh, so you can actually volunteer and work like that.
There's a huge volunteer contingent of fire and EMS personnel in this country. Oh. Many departments are only surviving because the volunteers help supplement whatever their paid staff is doing, and there isn't enough money to pay for a full-time paid staff.
Right.
Just in Scotts Valley, Felton, Boulder Creek, Zayante, those are all volunteer fire departments. So they might have a few paid folks. I don't know the actual statistics, but many, much of their staff is volunteer.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a fun side gig. It's like a second job, right?
Sure.
Or that's the other fun thing about volunteering, is you meet all these folks who you say, what do you do for your real job?
Yeah.
And they say, oh, I'm an attorney, or I'm a high school teacher, or I'm a nurse, or
so anybody can do
anybody.
this.
You just got to go get the training. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So you've done quite a few pivots in your life.
I have. Well said.
So what would be your advice to anybody that's kind of hit a wall right now, and they're out searching for something to keep them going, to new interest? What would you say to them?
Wow. The first is to listen. Listen to the universe. Listen to your loved ones, your friends and family. Listen to your heart and your gut. And sit with those messages and see what they're saying, and work them out. And I've done that more and more as I've gotten older. I think age is helping me with that, instead of just dashing around from one thing to another.
Right.
And it really helps me process, especially, as you said, if I'm hitting a wall. But the other is something I've discovered throughout my entire adult life is you'll be surprised what you can accomplish by just asking. And when you think you can't get something, or when you think something's out of reach, or it's a ridiculous request, or no one will ever take me seriously, or whatever the naysayer inside of you is saying, I've found if you just ask someone, or just say it out loud to someone else, you're often rewarded with, well, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And that's been a mantra for me, especially with 6 Minutes to Live, because the fire department and the EMS folks in this area will tell you that I just keep coming back to meetings and saying, hey guys, I just asked the defibrillator company if they'd donate some stuff for us, and they said yes. And they say, what? I said, I just asked.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, often the time you don't, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we're going to close on that one.
Great.
Yeah, and by all means, go and get yourself trained.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anybody can learn CPR. You can even just right now get on the internet and Google hands-only CPR, and whatever video you see from the American Red Cross or the AHA, or go on our website and see what you find. You can watch 5 minutes and just have a little bit of awareness.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, if you see us at an event in and around Santa Cruz, come on over. I'll show you how to do it on the mannequin, and you'll be able to feel what it's like.
Right, and they can find you at this Wharf to Wharf.
At the Wharf to Wharf,
yes,
yep,
that's the next event, right?
That's right, on July 26th on a Sunday in Capitola.
Right.
And then we'll be at the National Night Out on August 4th, I think, in the Santa Cruz Harbor.
National Night Out. I don't know about that. What is that?
It's a way to show the community the public safety and kind of emergency preparedness folks. So, yeah, police, fire, EMS. The Santa Cruz Harbor is hosting that
On the 4th.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good for people to
Double
know.
check the date because I might have it off the top of my head.
All right, well, I can Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good luck with it all, and I hope that feature documentary comes out and you sell it to Netflix and Amazon and all of them.
I love it, Susan, with your passion and enthusiasm, and thank you for interviewing me about this and understanding the import of it. I know we're going to succeed.
Oh, you will. There's no doubt. Yes, serendipity is
Indeed
alive and well.
That's right.
Thank you so much for coming today.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. As I close this moving conversation with Hilary Gates, I keep reflecting on how little we think about the unthinkable. What would we actually do if someone near us suffered a cardiac arrest? Hilary shared how watching a young athlete collapse and pass away right before her eyes, feeling completely helpless because she didn't know what to do, became a defining moment that shaped her entire journey. If this episode stirred something in you, learn hands-only CPR. And if you're around, on